Hi guys, what's the crack? You're watching K Reviews, and right now we're going to talk about the Batman v Superman original soundtrack by Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. So the original score for Batman v Superman came out last Friday. I've pre-ordered it already. I pre-ordered the special edition, but it hasn't arrived yet. So since then I've been listening to it a couple of times on Spotify just to get me pumped up for the movie and get a feel for, musically what to expect. I tried to listen to it as just an album in its own right, just a work of art in music in its own right. I tried to separate it from the film altogether and just listen to what's it like as music. But just couldn't help but think about the movie. It got me really pumped up, really excited for it. So I'll talk about those two separate things. I'll talk about it as just music on its own, and then I'll talk about it as a score and what it brought to mind for the movie. So as an album on its own, there's a lot of great tracks on it. The opening track, Beautiful Lie, is fantastic. It has this cool kind of like the Batman theme for the film opening, and then it eventually goes into this really melodic, really sad kind of epic piano thing that it just really touched me. It got me really emotional straight away on the first track. I just felt like, oh my god, this, I can't wait to see what scene this is going to be. I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know what Beautiful Lie means as a title, what that could be in the film, but that music, it really gripped me, it really caught me straight away. And then we're straight into the second track, There War Here, and that was really hard hitting. It has elements of the score from Man of Steel. It was epic. It was just really cool. Then we have the Lex Luthor track, The Capes Are Coming. That was very reminiscent of Hans Zimmer's work on the Sherlock Holmes score. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like that kind of a thing, really classical, but it had kind of a psychotic undertone to it. So that was a really cool track. There was a lot of really cool tracks throughout. Some of them as tracks don't work on their own, which is why it was impossible to just separate it from the film. That's why it made me think of the film. Some of the tracks you wouldn't listen to as songs on their own, but I think in the context of the film are going to work very, very well, because some of them were very atmospheric. Some of them were really suspenseful. There was horror elements to some of the tracks, and I thought it was great. There's a lot of variety of music on this album. There's there's classical, there's fast-paced, there's kind of horror elements, kind of scary. There was some kind of electronic stuff in there. There was a piece of electronic music in there at times, definitely during fight sequence kind of music, that I don't know why, but it reminded me of Mortal Kombat. I don't know why, but I think that's awesome. That's cool to me because, Mortal Kombat, it was very like a fight night kind of thing. So I think the album alone has some really great standout tracks, but some of them it just has to work with the film, which is why now I'm going to talk about what it did, what I thought about the film when listening to the music. So the horror style tracks, there was one of them, definitely, I think it's called Must There Be a Superman. That made me think about the nightmare sequence. I don't know if you know about this, but in the lead up to Batman v Superman, they have said that there is going to be this nightmare sequence that Batman has. It's not really happening. It's this possible vision of the future. I think it's the desert scenes in the trailers, and that music made me think of that. This horrible sequence of this is what could happen, and it's the worst possible scenario, and it's what Batman is trying to avoid at all costs. I don't know what gives him this vision. I'm interested to see that in the film. It's one of the things that has me interested most about it. But yeah, that definitely reminded me of that. Lex Luthor's track sounds, again, really classical, and then it has this psychotic undertone to it, which I think says a lot about his character, which means it's going to fit him really well. It's not a track I would listen to on its own, to be honest, but in the context of the film, I think it's going to work really well. Lex Luthor is probably a character that has this really classy kind of vibe he gives people, but underneath all that is this really dark character. Jesse Eisenberg has said a lot in the interviews for his character that he's very emotional, and a lot of people have said that his character is very, very angry. So I think he's going to have two very different sides to himself. In one way, the Lex Luthor to the public sees is his mask, and then behind all that, the Lex Luthor, the villain, the one that everyone knows from the comic books, is going to be his true persona. We haven't seen any of that in the trailers. We've only actually seen his mask, I think, realistically. His whole campy kind of act and stuff. So I'm looking forward to see what Jesse Eisenberg does with that. A lot of the fast-paced battle tracks do exactly what they should do. You can tell that they're going to be in battle sequences, and you can tell those battle sequences are going to be further enhanced by the fact that this music is fast-paced, epic, just big scores, lots of drums, which I think is great. Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL use drums really well. Junkie XL used them fantastically in Mad Max Fury Road. That was just like a mad, huge drum, epic journey. And then Hans Zimmer's used drums quite a lot since The Dark Knight Rises and Man of Steel. So it's cool that they're using them because they make fight sequences far more hard hitting. You can kind of, they enhance the punch sounds and everything. So I think they're going to fit the battle sequences fantastically, and they're great to listen to on their own. They get you pumped. They're just really awesome tracks. But there's a track on this score that hit me the most and made me really, really think about the movie. And it's a track called This Is My World, which is, it's Superman thing. It's basically a slow piano, really, really sad, really like sorrowful version of the music that's played at the end of Man of Steel between Superman and Zod when they're fighting. And I had this theory. I hadn't thought about it much. It was more of just like a what if. Because Doomsday is in it, I don't think a lot of people are talking about it. I think people are like, it's not going to happen, right? Because it's only the second movie in the DC extended universe, and because, you know, they are setting up the Justice League, so they're not going to do it. But I had this what if scenario where like Doomsday is in it, and Doomsday is famous in the comics as the character who killed Superman. So what if Superman dies? That was just sort of a what if at the time, because I saw Doomsday and I thought, it's kind of a wasted opportunity, like that Doomsday is in the second movie, and like that if he doesn't kill Superman, it's not a total waste, but it's a little bit of wasted opportunity because that's what he's famous for in the comics. And I feel like he's definitely not going to be in more movies. Like, they have to kill him in this because there's no prison that can contain him, and there's no way he'll just sort of get away, but he'll come back one day, because like, what's he going to do in the meantime? Like, he'll just kill thousands of people, so they can't really let him live past this movie. So I thought, it won't happen. But listening to this track, This Is My World, it hit me. I just felt I could see it in my head almost, the scene. I feel like Superman really might die, and then that Batman will have to revive him. I don't know how, I don't know in what way it would work. I don't know whether CPR would just do the trick, a defibrillator, or whether he'll have to like bring him to a Lazarus pit if they want to go down to the extent. I don't know, because I don't know, there's a lot going on in the movie anyway. But yeah, I really feel like Superman might die from listening to this music, but maybe that's me just reading into it too much. Yeah, overall I thought this was a great score. It got me really excited for the movie, so I think it was a good idea for them to release it a week before so you can listen to it, get a vibe for the movie. It sounds epic, it sounds emotional, there's a lot of different variety in there. There's violins, there's drums, there's electric guitar, there's electronics. It's moody at times, it's scary at times, suspenseful. Everyone has a very clear, their own score. Like Batman's score is very clear. Superman's score is continuing from Man of Steel, and it's very clear, so everyone has their own kind of identity. Lex Luthor's score, like, they're all totally different, which is cool because everyone has their own kind of vibe in the movie. So yeah, I think it's a great score, and I'm really excited for the movie. If you haven't listened to it, be sure to check it out on Spotify, and let me know in the comments below what you think of the score. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit it a like and to subscribe to K Reviews channel so that you can keep up to date with all the other K Reviews videos that will be coming up. Also, if you know, when I see Batman v Superman, I will be doing 2 reviews on it. I'll do a non-spoiler review and then a spoiler-filled review, so that anyone who has seen it we can get into the nitty-grittiness of it. So be sure to subscribe to this channel if you want to keep up to date with those. Also, a way to keep up to date with K Reviews is to like the Facebook page in the description below. I put up a lot of stuff there, that even like just quick thoughts on trailers and stuff that I don't get around to doing YouTube videos for, so it's another way of catching all my videos. And that's it from me. So be sure to let me know what you thought of the score, guys. I've been Kay. You've been awesome.